Hi, I'm Jen, and today I'm teaching crocheters how to knit. And I'm teaching them how to do this using a combination of knitting needles and crochet hooks. So if you stuck with me so far, this is part 3. Part 1 was casting on, and part 2 was learning the knit stitch, and this is learning the purl stitch. And if you stuck with me this far, then you must not think I'm completely crazy, which is good. So, just like with the knit stitch, I'm going to start you off with a crochet hook. And if you're a crocheter, I'm assuming that you're very comfortable with keeping the working yarn in your left hand. Now, as we start the purl stitch, I want to say that all knitters in the beginning find the purl stitch to be more of a challenge than the knit stitch. That's very common. That's it. If you're feeling that, that's okay. This might take a little bit more practice. You're not alone in that. The reason is you have to manipulate the working yarn more. You have to have more control over the working yarn when you're making purls than when you're making knits. The purl stitch is different in that you come in from the right side and cross to the left, and the tool that you keep in your right hand is kept to the front. A knit stitch, of course, goes from the left to the right and you cross in the back, and this is the opposite, from the right to the left and in the front. The working yarn comes up and over the tool in your right hand. In this case, of course, it's my hook. It comes up and over and down. It's the down part that you're going to need to master when it comes to controlling the working yarn. Okay, so let's get started. Let me get myself reoriented here. There we go. Push into the front loop. Bring the working yarn up and over your hook and down. And now this working yarn, can you see it? It's right there, has to be pulled down and to the back, out the side of this loop that we're working with and to the back of it, and then off the left needle. Cross to the front, from the right to the left, bring the working yarn over the front and down. And then with your hook, grab it right there and bring it down and to the back of your left needle, and then off the left needle. Use that hook. That's why we're starting with crochet hooks. Use this hook to grab that working yarn and make sure that it comes out the back and off. And these are purls. Now, some people find that the control of the working yarn requires them to pinch. Pinch. Let's see. It's not the way I'm used to doing it, but I know I can manage. There we go. Pinch it and pull it down. And then off. And down. And off. You having fun? Of course you're having fun. You're playing with yarn. Like I said, purls can be a little bit more to master. Down and off. Around, down, and off. And just like we did in the knitting video, I'm going to take this needle, put it down for a minute, and grab your second crochet hook. And let's get started again. I always find that knitting with crochet hooks, because of the hooks on the end, makes me open up my stitches. It keeps them big and loose. It keeps you from pulling too tight, which is a real advantage as a beginner. Like so. Okay. So after you've done this for a few rows and you've taken advantage of using the crochet hook, which is a tool that you like and you're comfortable with, and it has little hooks on the end which keep you from dropping stitches off the ends, in which you've mastered the motions of a purl stitch or the knit stitch, we're going to graduate to purling with needles. And just like in the knit stitch, you have to master control of the working yarn. You're going to have to put a little bit more tension on it than you probably were before. You come in with your right tip from the right side to the left, cross in the front, bring the working yarn up and over the right tip and down. And then with the right tip, after you've pulled it down, you can drag the right tip downwards until it pops free. Take your working yarn, your new loop right there, and push it out the back and then off the left hook in this case. Cross to the front, bring the working yarn around and down. Bring your right tip down and off. And the reason why I'm always saying this has to come down is because if your working yarn stays up above the left-handed tool, you can't really get it. It's a lot more difficult to get it out the back. Try bringing your working yarn down so that it comes down past the left-handed tool, and put some tension on it. I messed myself all up now. Put some tension on it so that you can drag your right tip down past your left-handed tool and off. And don't be afraid to pinch if you need to. There's no wrong way to hold working yarn. And if you're a crocheter, I'm sure you already know that. I've seen people who do this action. Let's see if I can do it with their thumb and keep it tensioned like that. So give that a try. And once you're comfortable going back and forth with needles and hooks, you'll be ready to purl like a real knitter using 2 needles. Ooh. There we go. So that's the end of my beginner lessons of knitting for crocheters. Hope you liked that. Hope it wasn't too weird. And I hope it helped. I really think that if you work these knit stitches and purl stitches using crochet hooks first, I think you'll have a lot more success. There you go. Enjoy.